Salutations is a good word for a starting
great
PTG intro. Yeah, I don't know why,
word.
because I usually keep it a little bit, normal, and then you do something funky. Do we still even do that, or do you just, we've let it drop
No,
off
yes,
recently, haven't we?
a little bit of yo-yos.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
similars. Maybe
yeah.
I should add in some different hellos again.
I think so. Yeah, I think
Konnichiwas.
we're getting a bit lazy on that, aren't we? I think,
Mm.
but salutations maybe makes up for it. So cool. I'm Hyper G. He is Lucky Sixes,
Yo
and we
yo.
are at day 2 of ETC
Day
now.
2. We've had a good night's sleep
Yeah.
after
Did you?
finally.
Did you have a good night's sleep? Were
Uh,
you sleeping well?
not a whole night, but I
No.
mean the venue. Let's talk about the venue. Venue's beautiful.
Yeah.
Really, really nice. So it's we
Sweet.
as for a first ETC, I definitely got spoilt
Okay.
in terms of the venue. There was free drinks,
Ooh, well, that is
not
very good.
alcoholic, but
Okay, that's still
otherwise
good.
good.
That'll suit me fine.
Yeah. And it's 4-star hotel, so
Brilliant.
I didn't sleep all night, but certainly
That
did
leaves
sleep well.
many questions.
And let's leave it at that. So
Okay.
into day 2, we finally got our win at end of day 1 as well.
You did.
Which was so nice. It's such a relief to actually get a team win. And actually feeling pretty confident mid-tables now if we can push on.
And you're undefeated for the whole week, let alone just the tournament.
Yeah, was it 3 wins and a draw? So
yeah,
come on, the Vampires. And up against Netherlands for round 3.
So the home team,
home nations. And my battle, which ended up 11-9. Now, I'd love to say this is a spoiler.
What? We put the wrong slide on. What are you doing?
No, absolutely. Unfortunately, I haven't put the wrong slide on. What happened was we got in and we let's go to this. Hang on. We got in and we did the matchups, and I got a vampire off, and obviously against Denmark, I was thinking, okay, so it's going to be drawish. But list-wise, he's got a few winged reapers. I think I could probably push him. And unfortunately, he wasn't feeling very well and had to step away, and not even to the point of I could do a practice game or anything. So I was left in a bit of a position, really. He offered a 10-10 and said, look, I'm not feeling very well, I can't play, I'm afraid. It wasn't self-induced, he assured me as well. So that was one thing. And
he slept all night.
Yeah, well, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, it was
true.
No reason to doubt him, so he won't. But so we got to it, and he said, let's just 10-10 it because it's vampires off anyway. I was like, oh, okay. So I got my coach. So this is effectively a timeout. I need to get the ball out, really. And I said to Tom, look, he's offered a 10-10. He can't play. What do I do? And he went,
because we don't have a lot of experience of that sort of thing.
No.
Do we? So.
I mean, I have shook, but it was halfway through a game, and it was going my way anyway. So it was an interesting thing to have this, and I knew it was a potential thing, and people might offer me stuff. And for the most part, I was going to say no. But if he's not feeling well, I'm not going to force him to play. And it is a vampire off, so if he wanted to, he could make it a 10-10. He could just go in a corner and just make sure I don't get around him, magic, heals, and make it a terrible game. So I said to Tom, look, what do I do? And he said, okay, well, how do you feel the matchup is? And I was like, well, I've got it down as a 10-10, but I've probably got the slight edge in magic. And I say this just because I've got so much variety. And he goes, okay, well, go over and chat to him and see what you can get out of it. And I was like, all right. So I went over and
so that's a deal with it yourself problem.
Well, no, it was like, look, 10-10's fine from a coach's point of view.
Point.
But he is unable to play, so think about that. So it was a bit of a team thing.
So you came back and said, I've got a 7.
Yeah. I felt so sorry for him. No, because what I said to him is, look, I said, appreciate you can't play and stuff. I do feel like I've got a slight edge, but I'm not gonna say it's a 15 because you can't play. Let's just go 11-9 to me, and we'll call it a day. And he was like, he sort of did this and was like, that's fair. And I was like, Damn, I should have asked for 12.
Yeah.
But we shook on an 11-9. He had a bit of a rest, and I was left in a bit of a predicament. I had 4 hours. Well, 5.
I was going to say. I mean,
lunch.
you've called me online to do a bat rep.
Yeah,
Lucky Sixes.
I have. I was left in a predicament. And getting up early because there were early starts. We had to be in for 8. I had 5 hours to kill.
Yeah, because they're long rounds, aren't they? Yeah,
the long rounds, obviously, and things. So I got to a point. I was like, well, I could just sit and go and watch Furion or something like that, or just go and look at the other tables, or go back to bed. That was a serious consideration.
Absolutely, because you didn't sleep all night.
But I had the channel in my mind and in my heart.
So, I was going to say
we don't have a battle report. We have 7.
What?
7 in 1, baby. And
oh my gosh, it's new territory.
I have gathered pictures from all of the other matches.
Unbelievable.
And we will go through them round by round, not match by
match. Oh my goodness, my head is already blown.
Now, viewers, I don't know whether this will work. This is my disclaimer. I have no idea on the flow of everything. I've tried to put it in a decent order, but we will see.
Okay.
So this is
going to test us to our limits, I think.
This is an extreme battle report, baby. Of all regards. I have no idea whether the pictures will tell us anything either. I have looked at them and I kind of get a gist of it, but I'm not battling. I don't know what's going on. So we will see. All the time while I was doing this as well, I was chatting to Tom and I got a really good insight and perspective on the coaches thing. So we'll try and
you were like a spare coach, really, but you weren't allowed to help, right?
No. Well, you weren't allowed to help until I could have if there was a timeout where
Tom
was needed and I was needed. But let's be honest, I'm not the best. I'd be just roll a 6. You'd be all right.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah, that's the advice.
Or 2 if you need it. But yes, so we will see how it goes. It'll be interesting and fun. But come along. I'm going to
be stressed. I don't know how fun.
So this battle report is England versus Netherlands. It's not me v someone. This is England versus Netherlands.
All right. Let's go. Let's do it. So this is a good matchup for us then, really.
So, yeah.
Yes, us. I mean, I've nothing to do with this.
No,
but,
absolutely. So, as we said, Vampires v Vampires was a bit of a drawish, and we've got just about that. So I'm happy enough for that. Otherwise, we're looking up. So we've got a big win with Luke. Assured us he could get a big win against the Empire, and otherwise,
poor Darren.
Well, yes, I know, but his. I'll take this, but a lot of his sheets had at least 6 reds. So
okay.
It was he didn't have very good matchups.
But this is all a reflection of Vermin Swarms being a lot worse now than they were at the start of the year, isn't it?
Yeah, and so. While it looks like he's been thrown under the bus, actually some of these aren't his worst matchups. So,
wow, okay,
to put it that. So, he was kind of used as a tool in terms of Vermin Swarms, but it was it wasn't always to get him the worst matchup. So those are our matchups. As you can see, looking good overall. Probably a small win.
Is be interested to see how Luke gets on with the beast heads. Then that one's a heavy green.
So. This was our negotiations.
I'm looking for the guy who's just sitting in the corner with his head in his hands.
Yeah.
Rocking slowly because he can't play his game.
Absolutely. No, I mean, he chatted. Obviously, we had 5 hours, so there was a half a bit where he came back and I chatted to him and stuff. So,
the guy looks like that, right?
I know, right? Right. So, first off, we have, and I'll move this. We have on table A1, Jake versus Dread Elves.
I'm surprised you got a picture because he would have been pacing this whole way through.
He would have very much so. So yeah, I mean it's secure target, and actually Netherlands had these amazing
little
token things with the 6-inch aura. I'm going to say.
Oh, nice.
Or bubble. So it was really easy for the most part. Really easy to spot on all the pictures. So that's cool. That's cool. Us. He basically. But you can't see, but there's a Titan on the other side and a unit, and he's got his big bastion in the middle. And the Dread Elves have gone few score on this side, few score on that side. Let's go for the objective. So you can see that Jake's more spread out or more evenly spread out, and the Dread Elves have gone 1 for 1, so turned into too many battles. So that's interesting there. Hugh, I've moved.
And he's a no magic push ogre list, isn't
no
he?
magic push ogre list versus all the magic demons. So demons already have given him 2 Veil tokens a turn, and he's not using them. So that's interesting. But yeah, so we got demons with loads of sirens, double sirens actually. Big units as well. So yeah, I think that's a miser as well. I'm not sure. But yeah, so set up there, ready to go. You can see the there's a token here and a token in the center of that mat.
Yeah.
Josh's Sylvans versus
I like how in the previous picture Josh looked worried, and in this picture he looks even more worried.
Yeah, he does. I can tell you that as you can see, their warriors had got the first turn, and they are
already on it.
Up. So I mean, yeah, that's how eager the warriors were. This is 2 chosen lords on chariots as well.
Ooh, okay,
I believe.
He's released the hounds there, hasn't he? So one of Josh's wild huntsmen are already blocked off.
Yeah, so
I imagine the other unit of cavalry isn't actually huntsmen. Maybe it could be, but that looks like a chunky warriors unit that's come up. So.
He's got 3 units of huntsmen as Josh.
Yes, he does.
But yeah, so warriors are going for it in the early doors.
As they do.
We have a smiley Dutchman.
Smiley Netherlands.
Yeah. Again, you can see the 2 token markers, which are really useful.
He's smiling because he thinks Luke hasn't got.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're just about halfway through the movement phase. There, Luke going first as well. But yeah, so Beasters versus Empire there. At this Empire list of 2 big units of Sun Griffin Knights as well.
That's
so
cool.
it's really interesting. Although it looks like 3 there.
Yeah, it does.
What else would be on the? I think it might be 3.
There's 3, yeah.
I think this might be 3 units of things, and then he's got a couple of buff wagons as well. Over in this one, we've got the KOE off. So Wes got his KOE. Actually, Wes on the bottom side said this was it could go swing the other way. So it was a draw to loss for our KOE. So as you can see, they've cornered up both of them. That's
an interesting one with the secure target. Is that on ruins as opposed to on impassable?
Yeah, one on ruins, one behind a hill. Actually, the ruins one doesn't affect Wes too much because he's got Stalker's Banner.
Yeah,
so he's actually quite happy for that. And if you look at the deployment, the Peg Knights are the most over this side for his opponent. So actually, they're not scoring. So he's likely to get this secure target. And it's just whether because there's an impassable in that middle bit as well. So Wes's flank, he's going to find it difficult to get to that second one. So it's can he push him off it? So it's looking already very drawish. And can either of them do anything? This is the only one not to have. I think it's the only one not to have tokens. I'm not sure, but I added in the tokens myself.
Trooper.
Tankers, Wretched One, and Armor Wall versus Sylvan Elves. So we've actually got Sylvans versus Warriors twice.
Just
different players.
Opposite matches.
That's an interesting one to see how that sort of compares to each other as well. Warriors looking like they got the first turn with the Wretched Ones coming forwards. So that's halfway through there as well. Obviously, Wretched Ones should be quite nice for Sylvans as well to go against them. And finally, on the last table, Darren's Vermins versus the Orcs and Goblins. We didn't play too many of them because obviously it's the old Orcs and Goblins book. And the tokens are very much on that side. You can see 2 other tokens on the thing. They're the tunnel markers for Vermin Swarms as well.
They do not look 24 inches apart.
They don't. And I really because the 2 markers that you can see that I've covered up looked the same. And then the tunnel markers looked the same. But I think tunnel markers have to be 24 as well. So I don't know whether it's just the camera angle.
Okay.
Because we do get it from the other angle. But yeah, so I mean, blocky.
Well, you just like drawing that particular set of shapes on it.
Well, maybe. I should have.
You didn't even see that until now,
I should have moved the orc head, shouldn't I? That way. I've missed a trick there. Anyway, we'll move on and you can use your imaginations to fill in the gaps there.
Already done.
So, on to back to Jake in table 1, and we have
I like it.
how the game is going, and
it's like match of the day, only all at once.
Yeah, it's like the last day of the season.
Yeah.
And we see here the Bastion unit moves forward in the middle.
Jake's just gone. He's gone everywhere.
Yeah, so as you can see, well, I mean, the Dread Elves deployed like that, I guess, and Jake has kind of had to go over it. But as you can see, you've got unit and Titan versus the Dread Elves, basically on each side.
Yeah.
One unit of I think, where are the Lugers? Because he's got a unit of Lugers. I think the Lugers are ones on the left with the Titans. So we've got Lugers and Titan versus the bulk of the Dread Elves.
Yeah.
Bastion sort of going. I think they're Obsidian Guard in the middle for the Dread Elves next to the Chariot. So sort of like making sure that they don't do anything silly. And then the rest of Jake's army versus the rest of these Dread Elves on the right.
Yeah.
So yeah, really interesting to see how that plays out. But I think Dread Elves went first. Jake sort of countering, sort of both zoning each other off a little bit and seeing what they can do from range. Over to Hugh, and as you can see, Hugh has pushed.
Yes.
This is the push where the big stuff goes in front and the little stuff goes behind. Little stuff being the scraplings or scratter, whatever they're called, the shooters.
Scrapholes. Scraplings.
They are scraplings, are they? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, coming for the demons, and the demons, can they deal with all those impact hits and not man-eaters, the mammoth hunters, and things like that. So he is in your grill. Yeti's coming up to chaff early doors to help him for later. Over in our Sylvan game with Josh, you can see that there are some.
Quite a lot's changed there, isn't it?
Yeah, so basically, Josh has backed off a little bit. Warriors have come
a little
forward.
Bit. You could almost confuse how much he's backed off for a death pile.
Yeah. I mean, I think Josh actually had this down as green. So with the objective in mind, actually not looking that strong right now.
No, because you would get through them.
We're quite down. We're quite down on this. So that's probably, if you say he was going for a 13, it's looking like a maximum of 7. Unless he can do something pretty good. I think the eagle at the back, where near Josh's hand, is charging the dogs.
Yes, it looks like
that's
it to
what
clear
that
them
is. Yeah. Otherwise, he's just sort of kind of backing off, really, as you would expect. Over here, and Luke trying to push the button with the beast herds and get them forward. Those longhorns looking like the closest. It looks like they've come up to bait some charges and buff them up to town. So
is that Minotaurs on the right flank?
No, it's razor tusks. I don't think they're called.
Razor tusks.
Res 5 and 4 attacks each.
Yeah, they are pretty good.
Hit like a truck, certainly. So
where are they going though? Because it's facing a building.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's
can't
almost
get
like
through there very easily.
Using as maybe for reinforcements later on, maybe, or trying to make sure that unit of knights can't get past anywhere. It's very interesting. But he does look like he's zoning on the hill with his chariots. So those units are Sun Griffin, and his longhorns on the right have they're the first ones to go. So the push is carrying on. Perhaps a bit tentative push. So not one of the biggest pushes, but a tentative one. Over here, the KOE off. I need a. They're just zoning.
Yes.
So they both move forward onto their objectives and are zoning.
Well, the Peg Knights are just slightly off the board. I mean, how illegal that is.
Well,
ETC as well. I mean, really.
Exactly right. Exactly. Over here, the wretched ones are eyeing up what they need to get into the side of some chaff over there, and then it looks like he's got 2 units of war dancers over this side, infantry as well. So if we can get both of those wretched ones into the war dancers, that's pretty good for tankers. But early days there. You can see the Sylvan Elf arc around. It's whether or not. I think the big question of this battle is how much those wild hunters can actually go through the armor, because while they have a lot of attacks, I think the AP2 is not terrible, but it is
AP2 no matter what they're armed with.
but it is armor 1+, you know, so it's not it's no mug over on that side. No. So it's, I guess the option is from tanker's point of view and from our point of view is whether or not they can withstand the hunters, wild huntsman's attacks, really.
Yeah.
Over here, and the last of the initial round is vermins, and kind of tentative from the orcs and goblins. It looks like they're sort of not pushing too hard over on that right hand side, and vermins are obviously being vermins have to sort of castle up anyway, so they're kind of going forward. I want to know. I think the first action picture. Oh no, it's not that. Is that's something else. So they've both got catapults on each side. There's the two sort of dinosaur-looking things are the Arachnaroks or whatever they're called.
That's cool.
In fact, they are called Arachnaroks of old.
Just
Gargantuous. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just moving forwards, feeling people out, I guess. And I was looking at this picture and I was thinking actually it might just be 24 inches between those more gold looking tokens. If you consider that it's 24 inches.
Not sure.
It does look close.
Yeah.
It does look close.
To be fair though, it's not like that gives either player an advantage unless it was specifically done to get an advantage.
If you think
it's the same for both players.
But if you look at this picture and if you think from the edge to the centre, and we can quite clearly see the centre from that white dot, that's 36.
No, true.
So it's not out of the realms of possibility that those, because they're slightly diagonal as well.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I think it's just the way the picture looks and how everything.
It looks like there's a lot of board at the other side, doesn't it? Yeah. But you're right. So it's 36.
I think it's a optical illusion. So on to our first distraction of the
you're like a meerkat, just like you have one job.
I had a lot of time, and in the early stages things go a bit slower, so I was sort of taking pictures of other things. This was one of the Netherlands, I think, player's son, who not only does amazing dice towers, and it's got bigger and bigger as the day went on. He got everyone drinks. He was getting everyone drinks. So
all alcoholic
table. He might have been adding stuff that I can't.
Yeah,
I'll go for that. But so
sedatives in all of the
big shout.
drinks.
I didn't get his name, but big shout out to Netherlands Waterboy and Dice Tower enthusiast.
Yeah.
And also, I had a bit of a wonder because
there's our boy.
We have some pictures of this is
Matty
P in action.
He looks like he's focused. You could draw laser beams coming out of those eyes any minute.
Yeah, which is interesting because I know for a fact that they shook on a score and then played it out afterwards. This was more of a tactical. They were having a tactical battle, which is really
got Luke in the background as well.
Yeah,
looking like he's in control.
So this was Wales v Norway. This is some of the Poland lots, and
so you're not going to talk us through these battles, no?
No, not you only get 7, I'm afraid. But yeah, some lovely pictures, lovely conversions, and just great models. And
wow, that's so great. Cool.
It was so nice to go around and just because there was like 3 or 4 rooms, as you might have seen from the video that we had. I mean, look at that Titanopod.
Yeah, they're rubbish.
No, not really. If you another quick shout out as well. If you look past the guy in the blurry guy with a beard in the background, that is Hugo from Warhol. Who I had a good chat with on several of the days actually. One time when we were half naked in a pool as well. So
only half naked,
which was a shame. That was the disappointing bit, if I'm honest.
Now we know what you were up to when you weren't sleeping.
Here we go. But yeah, so another shout out to him. He's a lovely chap, and it was great to catch up with him.
Yeah, done a great job with Warhol.
But back to the games. Round 2, essentially. And the more of the standoff continues.
I was going to say it's a very similar picture to before, really. Isn't it
is not, and this is between me going round everywhere for about half hour as well. This is on to Dreadel's turn, and they're kind of just pushing up a little bit and getting the right zones. As you can see, I think it's the vassal levies, I think they're called. One of the units that the Dreadel's have, obviously with auxiliaries have concentrated.
It might even be slaves, mightn't it?
It might be slaves.
I think Jake uses that that tactic of like pushing a unit forward to bait everything and then pouncing.
Yeah, but it
I'm
does
not sure
look
about
like
the pouncing part in this
I
picture.
think so anyway. I think it is. But yeah, so it looks like they're being concentrated on from the Dread Elf point of view. But otherwise, more of the same. Just looking at this side of the board, and also a little turn to our lovely dice.
I know. I was going to say there's a fair few sixes in there.
Red Lion dice, yeah. If that was a roll, that's great. And the Red Queen dice, which is very nice. Our first timeout happens.
Oh, there he is.
And this is not the last you'll see of him, Terry. So don't worry.
No.
We have and this is the first picture I actually got of Tom, the coach. So I've talked a lot about him, and nice to get him. What's more, I want to divert your attention more to his hat, which is more important than the team itself.
It's a masterpiece.
I think. But yeah, so this is talking through, actually looking directly at what's going to happen and the chosen lords and things. And Josh saying, well, I can back off and run away, but I've lost the objective, which is down on my prediction. So what is
either the eagle failed the charge or it didn't charge.
Yeah, or the dogs ran maybe and died.
I don't know whether they've run too. But yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but something's happened to the dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very likely they got shot off, right?
They got shot off after the eagle failed. I'm guessing. So, and the eagle just stumbled forward into his own unit. Yeah.
Our first time out in Sylvan Elves, and this is how it looks.
Maybe that's what the timeout was for, to work out where the dogs went.
Maybe, yeah. He had some dogs, but I don't know where they've gone. But yeah, so this is before, I think, before he either pulls the trigger or not. Over to Luke's table, and he's gone in with into.
There you go. That's the plan with the razor tusks.
Razor tusks then come in as reinforcement
undercutting.
In there. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes, because if you can do that, that certainly helps him out with the win. Because points wise anyway, because it looks like there's not too much scoring on that left side, so the objective seems a bit drawy. So for a big win, when you predict a big win, you should be sure you're getting the objective as well. So whether or not Luke has a plan for that, it's interesting. But they go through the Sun Griffin Knights with minimal damage, but I watched this and they rolled just enough to stay on, and are not quite under quarter health, so they will get a chance to rally.
Right. Luke's going to struggle to declare. Well, there's that impassable there.
Yeah, so
that charge.
I think he went after him and only in stumbles
bounced off the building. Yeah,
and bounces, but they get away. So that's an interesting development there. Can they hold? Because if they hold, that's a lot of points to hold their points. Yeah. But you get some good pictures of some lovely models.
Yeah,
but they're not moving, so don't worry.
No, they're not moving.
Over here, and the first of the action, really. I guess after Luke, but the first of the action certainly in the Warriors versus Sylvan Elf.
He rolled an 8 dice charge and got all 6s.
He did. This is actually after the charge, after battle focus. And the next picture probably tells more of a story than any words.
And Tanker's just not happy about that. I can tell.
Yeah, I don't know why I cut off Tanker's head. He was looking at me. I decided Tanker didn't.
Maybe he was just so disgusted that he censored it at the channel.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So captions, please, everybody, for this picture.
Absolutely.
But certainly, with all those 6s. They didn't disappoint for sure, and we'll
maybe
see
it was the aura of a lucky 6s walking past that did that.
Absolutely. Onto Vermins, and the Vermin seem to be the one pushing it somewhat going forwards with the objective as well. I think this is probably one of the ones where the objective's most up for grabs in terms. A lot of them seem a bit drawishy. One person's got one.
The Orcs player isn't even going for this one on the left side, is he?
It doesn't look like it, especially if they're all over here. It does seem like Vermins have that as an option. So this will be really interesting to see.
Yeah, because it's not like the Orcs have neophytes or anything.
Yeah, one of the first. This is what I meant by one of the first things. Both catapults have done more damage to themselves than they have to the opponent in the first 2 turns. Nice. So that's just Such is the way with war machines, isn't it? Such is the way.
And vermins, to be fair.
And vermins, yeah.
Yeah.
Back over here, and there are some charges being done from the Dread Elf point of view.
Oh right. Okay.
It looks like the whatever that is on the right hand side. I'm not sure. What would it be? It might be Obsidian Guard.
Going in. Oh no,
this is
Dread
Elves.
Sorry.
So are going into the spears with the chaff or the Dread Riders, whatever they're called. I'm not very good with Dread Elf names actually. But they're going into
Shadow Riders
into the flank to stop their spear things.
Yeah.
And have a way to get around and everything. So that's an interesting one. Can they hold out to all those attacks over there? And something's going into the Titan. It looks like a chariot's going into the Titan over there on the other side. Yes, I was correct. So yeah, these are the close-ups of that, and so we'll see how that gets on. Dread Elves pulling the trigger first. Really, they've scratched the itch. In terms of this, the onslaught, I guess, continues, and Hugh is now in with him into the
grill's on max heat.
Right now. Lots of charges. So you've got a Mammoth Hunter on the top going into Sirens, not Sirens, Succubi, and then it looks like I think it's Clawed Fiends or Hoarders. I'm not sure which. I would presume Clawed Fiends, because going in solo to Hoarders seems a bit rough, but maybe the low AP
because
might
they
be
get better as it goes on, don't
they? They do, but I think they're AP 0, so maybe that's the thing. Anyway,
there's only 4 up armor on the Rock. So.
Yeah, so anyway, the Rock character goes in and as well. So they've started. Anyway, and can they? It's a close up here. Some lovely models.
I like the pirate hat on the giant.
Yeah, man.
Both have hats actually, don't they?
Yeah. Over here, and this is from Josh's point of view. So we've had it from the Warriors' point of view normally, and you can see that the Warriors have gone into the Wild Huntsmen have gone into the Warriors on that right side, onto the smaller units. That might be Chosen actually.
Oh, really?
That might be Chosen rather.
Well,
than
that
Warriors.
little exchange of agility, don't you?
Agility Huntsman, smash it, yeah. And he's chaffing in the middle, so he's focusing on this right hand side really. But the war dancers have gone into one of his chosen knights and are out of line of sight of any thing. So that in terms of the coaching timeout, it was pull the trigger, mate. We need some points.
Yeah, fair enough.
And he's hopefully delivering. Showing you this. He's even got perception of strength off.
Very nice.
That does not sound like a good place for Warriors or Chosen alike.
Yeah.
Over here, and unfortunately for Luke, he's turned to face the middle, hoping that those Sun Griffin don't rally and go off the board, but yes, they do. Luke's having to re-go again and get some other points from somewhere else. Otherwise, not really much else has been taken from each other. And I will say as well, this was, while this is round 2 or 3, this was a lot later on time-wise. So this was going slowly as battle.
Yeah, sure.
One of the ones. This is to show you, they turned around and they are smiling, fella. They are smiling.
They really are.
Over here, some lovely pictures of the model, but the same. As you can see, the models have not moved.
Oh.
They continue to just look at each other. I mean, these guys as well. Come over. They're having great chats. They're really, really, really extensive, good chats.
About how little they're going to do on the battlefield.
But yeah, Wes, I'm very much looking forward to the battle report of this
on his channel. Yeah.
Very interested in.
I bet they were really interesting magic photos.
Yeah, I think Wes is looking to try and get these Yearmen. I think because he's got a bit more range than his opponent. So it's whether or not he can get bit. Will that change the battle VPs?
Outcome.
We'll wait and see. Over here, and as you can see, the death pile is mounting up for tanker. The wretched ones have gone nearly down in the middle, and not really gone through the Wild Huntsman like you'd want them to. either from his point of view. He's chaffed the other wretched ones on that side, so they can't help out, and those Wild Huntsmen on this right hand side have just decimated those knights. The AP was enough. So it's Tanker's turn.
Tanker is charging now.
He's
right?
charging. Yeah, you charged me and beat me up. I'm going to charge you and see if I can do the same.
But they'd be in the same agility, wouldn't they?
I'm not sure whether it sounds like they're the same without looking.
Warrior Knights.
It's the same.
I think. Yeah. And Wild Huntsmen are already 6. So.
Yeah, are they not agility 4 to 5 on the charge, because they're not agility elf. Elves are 5.
And they're not chosen. And what guys are they? Yeah, maybe
chosen are 6. I'm not sure. I'm not sure the exact stats, but it's closer. Better for the warriors this way around, but I'm not sure I think they might go first as well. But
also warriors are just relying on their 1-up armor save there, aren't they?
So a lot of board space for the Sylvans as well. So I mean they've got a massive unit of warriors on that left side. So it's looking drawish there. But crunch time really quite early on. Can everything get through? I think those wretched ones going in as well will have an overrun. So perhaps if he does his combats correctly in correct orders, he might get some overruns as well. So we shall see. It's just a view. Everything gets in.
Great.
Oh, that doesn't look like wretched ones. That looks like warrior knights on this side.
Yeah, it does.
So it does not go well though.
No!
And before he can even swing, he loses, I think, 8 out of 10.
3-up armor saves.
The guy was rolling hot, and it just continued the misery for Tanker, and that's not a good position there. Over here, he does clear some chaff there, but doesn't quite get the overrun into the Wild Huntsman after the wretched ones go down. So 2 units of knights, 1 unit of wretched ones gone for Tanker. Not much taken in return, and that's looking bleak for sure on another one of our greens. I sort of saw this one quite a bit, and when someone's rolling hot, you just got to accept he's rolling hot.
Or moan about it for 3 years.
Or moan about it, which Tanker doesn't do.
No.
He doesn't. He had some bad dice in a few of the battles actually. He was like, "Yeah, happens." I was like, "Not 3 times in a row. Come on, moan, man." Over here, the vermin swarms continue to sort of zone a bit and are looking decent-ish for what they're for their value. And actually, I think Darren's playing it fairly well.
He's not going for that left objective either, though, is he? Because those doom spikes are not scoring.
They're not scoring, but he only needs to get 1, right? Because he hasn't. The Orcs and Goblins don't have much scoring on that side either. They only have that unit, I think, of Iron Orcs.
It looks like
there.
it. Yeah.
So realistically, if he can, I know for a fact he's trying to whittle down the Goblin unit with his catapults.
Yeah.
So if he can deal with the Iron Orcs, then actually he's onto a winner objective-wise. So Darren might be on for a win here.
Okay, great.
So this is showing some of his shots going into the Iron Orcs as well. So he has whittled them down. I think one of his catapults went after them as well and hit. So pretty good from that point of view. And this is him taking off some goblins. So a good round, a bad round, first 2 rounds turned into a good one.
Yeah.
Over here, and we see some results of some of the charges that happened with the ID, and the chariot did some wounds but died, and I think that might have been its goal, to be honest. But the big unit of spears plus cauldron, I think, is moving on up, so perhaps less scared of the Lugers and Titan than I would be.
I was going to say, yeah.
For sure. I'll move us slightly so you've got the auxiliaries up there, but whatever those things were have died as well. Not quite killing the spears to their full advantage. What were they? Obsidian Guard, or might have been spears themselves. But actually Dread Elves dying a bit quicker than I would have expected them to do. So ID holding up well and holding decent, although that Titan has taken some wounds, baby.
A bit of a licking,
so can it survive, I guess, from Thingy's point of view. But Bastion's looking strong as well, so looking okay. Very interesting. Still on a bit of a knife edge in this one. This is showing one of the mages going in, very damsel-esque. Yeah, I think it. I think he told me to take a picture of this because I think this was the third round of combat or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was like just holding him up, and as you can see, the bastions moved up close as well to get in on them.
Surely that's got to be a duel, right?
Something.
There's something going on
but
there.
he was like, I don't know how long this lasted. This is crazy. But yeah, so some more pictures. So of this side and of this side. There you go. Bit of a picture fest. Yeah. Over here, and there's even more in combat than there was before, and just it's all lots of mini combat. So another mammoth hunter onto this right hand side. I'm told the mammoth hunters quite like infantry, so this was he was very happy with the scope. He's got some veil serpents and whatever monster or whatever thing character that is of the demons in with his saber tusks and mammoth hunter in the middle. Which is I really like Hugh's mammoth hunter in there because it's got a really nice banner. But ogres have great banners. I'm going to put that out there. Ogres seem to have great banners. Otherwise, going all right in the Rock fight. He isn't taking minimal wounds, and everything's kind of just chipping away. Can he continue on that run for the rest of the game? Is the question. Looking good objective-wise as well. Got this. I'll go back actually. In terms of objectives, we've got one over there, as we said, and one here. So demons.
What are those units? Are they all scraplings?
Yeah, 4 units of 20 scrappling bows.
Nice.
So
that didn't work for me.
Yeah, I've seen it a few times.
I had 2 units of 40 actually, rather than 4 units of 20. But yeah, big difference there.
John Turner took it in Art of War as well. So definite, and actually quite a few of the ogre lists had this. So cracking on. Picture of some of the combats over here. Warriors. So we go back to this. You can see the war dancers going in there, and the big unit warriors being chaffed. Wounds have been done. They're nicking the wounds. When we go to this one, they nick another wound. And no counter charges. So can they just keep nicking wounds? Just need to keep nicking. And overview wise, one of the I think that's just a normal warrior chariot. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure, but it's gone into some of the Heath Riders in the centre. So perhaps one of the long charges came off as well.
Yeah.
If I move us though as well, you see some unit of knights over here. I'm not sure whether this unit of knights has been taken off, or whether it's a third unit of knights. But war dancers versus those knights, it's going in the favour of the war dancers just. But you never know with war dancers. They have great phases and terrible phases of combat.
Yeah.
So, we'll keep you updated. Over here, the Longhorns go into the next target or victim, but it's just a unit of swordsmen, I think, or whatever it is, really hoping that they don't get a double one on the overrun, basically, because so they can look at those other Sun Griffin knights and knock the unit of other knights. Really?
Yeah.
And thankfully they do. They go through them, so picking up some points, but not a lot else happening. Over here, you got some knights coming around. If I move us again, you got some knights coming around this area potentially for a bit of a sneaky.
There was always that threat.
Objective.
Once the race just did move in, they would be there.
So there's plays on both sides. Luke trying to be as aggressive as he can, but just not quite.
Not a lot killed,
yeah, because of those Sun Griffin rallying, really. I should say, Wes, I spoke to Wes about this one because I shared a room with him.
Well, there's a lot to talk about in this one.
There was. Well, he said actually this was his. He came out of this battle, and he was like, "I've had an ETC battle now."
Okay.
Because this was one where neither of us really wanted to commit for a long portion of the game.
Is that a spoiler alert? On the 6th turn, there's 10 charges.
because we didn't want to, we didn't want to come away losing big in what was a 10-10 all the way if we played it. So over here, and the Warrior Knights are kind of getting beat up on. As you can see, the other ones have been mopped up on that top side. These ones have not getting the overrun. They got countercharged and really a bit ganged up on with War Dancers. Yeah, you don't want War Dancers and Wild Huntsmen going into you. I don't think anyone. No. Put in the comments a unit that can hold to that, please.
Well, especially with the dancers in the flank.
If you can tell me a unit that can hold this, I'll be much appreciated.
A single Thyroscutus with a 2-up armor.
I mean, these have a 1-up, so if we're talking armor,
yeah, res 5. That would help.
Yeah, that would help. Yeah. Yes, maybe a high res. So would a Feldrak Ancestor that goes first?
Monster.
Maybe.
Yeah, it probably would.
But regardless, he hasn't got that, and he isn't that, and he's going to die.
Actually, if we're going big monsters with armor, just my favourite, the Titanopod, right?
Titanopod, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Because that would have lots of flank to charge as well. So.
It would. Over here, and it seems like Jake has got out of line of sight of that Cauldron unit on the left, for the most part, anyway. And looking to perhaps make a play on the objective that way. Can he get round the Cauldron? Will the Cauldron just sit there and guard? Or will he have a Titan in his flank? I'm not sure, but an interesting next couple of turns for sure. I don't know exactly what happened with this guy. I know he's not a proper fighter, but something happened. Oh, you know what? I think it is. This guy held up long enough for the Bastion unit to get in, do the wounds,
right. And then only the guy.
Then only he deserved to get the points. And chase him while the Bastion turned to face this way. So
he decided not to chase him straight away because he wanted another few rounds of combat first.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's it. But yeah, didn't catch him. So obviously they have a chance of rallying, and then they go again, baby. And then they go again. On this right hand side, the Titan comes around to sort of, I guess, go against the auxiliaries. Can the auxiliaries pump up enough wounds before they get eaten to shreds? Is the question there, and can the small unit of spears or whatever Dread Elf fighters deplete that unit of spears? So again, still fairly on the edge and still lots of answers.
Are they the Thunder Beasts?
They could be,
because I'm just looking at it's like a 60 by 20,
and you wouldn't rank up infantry like that, would you?
No, you wouldn't.
So you might be right.
Might be the Thunder Beasts. Yeah,
I think you're onto it there. So yeah. So what will happen there? This is showing the centre. Keep getting in the way, don't we? Over here, and the just plodding away. It still happens, still happening. Plodding away.
Giants are doing all right. There's one taking a few wounds there, but.
Yeah, I think one of the they have, but it's gone into a unit as well. I think whatever was in the center. Oh yeah, those you can see the Mammoth Hunter and Sabertooth have fled, and now he's got a big demon and some Veil Serpents going after his Scraplins. So
that's an issue.
Yeah, I guess from the demon point of view, can he get them all? And from a ogre point of view, can he hold up enough to win the objective there? So that's an interesting battle. But he has got a Rock turned around to help out. So he's not completely on his own. This is after some of the combats, and the Rock's just slowly whittling it down. The Mammoth Hunter slowly whittling it down. There's wounds everywhere. And who will win the grind? This is showing the centre. Some Scraplin bows kill a few of the Veil Serpents as well on their way. Over here, and a lot of the Sylvan Elves have gone down.
I have.
Although it seems like the chariots have died to the War Dancers, or at least one of them has. So I think the Chariot Lords might have gone down. This unit, though, in the middle does have a Chosen Lord with demonic wings. So I think this might have been a no magic warriors list with just fighting power. The that's on the left hand side. That's a big unit of archers next to some war dancers going after that objective, and obviously on this side you've got 3 units of scoring warriors that could go into it as well. So Josh has done well, I think, because of the situation, to get it back to a drawish on objective wise, but maybe has he lost a bit too much there as well? So in terms of points, we'll see. The chariot and, as you can see, the demonic lord wings go into that unit. I think of bows at the back, so they're not long for this world. And you've got some barbarians and warriors coming over to the left hand side, with the warrior knights going into the war dancers, and that's always dicey. And they both go to town on each other.
I was going to say, yeah.
So it's still as dicey as before, but not many wounds left on either side. Over in Luke's battle, and he goes in yet again with his longhorns, but unfortunately they went a bit too long in the last one, and they've got double charge.
Double griffined.
However, they do have a lot of magic and a lot of armor on them, so it's not the worst thing in the world for them. Although they will take a bit of a battering, perhaps more than they initially thought they would. Otherwise, not really much else died on either side. It's very, very drawish. Bit one unit, as you can see, the top left of the screen is the death pile. So it's only 1 unit plus 2/3 of that Sun Griffin unit, which isn't enough for points. So yeah, it will come down to this big fight on how it goes.
I think those might have been the Sun Griffins from the other unit, actually. Oh, well, that's what you mean. Yeah.
Nothing.
Fair enough. Yeah.
The standoff continues. They've got some measuring sticks out. they're really measuring. Oh boy.
They're threatening each other.
Yeah. Over here, and this is showing you the Wretched Ones trying to get back into it after getting a few little points, I think, and some eagles. Him chaffing the Tanker chaffing the Wild Huntsman, and maybe going for it with warriors. Who knows? We'll see. Got some barbarians at the top there with his Sorcerer Lord in as well. So not much on the board for Tanker. And can the Sylvans pounce, really? It's showing the Wretched Ones going into that, and them having a measuring up what charges they need.
Yeah, that's probably a lot more doable than Tanker would like.
Yeah, Tanker as well. We looked at this, and I can't remember whether it was actually a flank, but I know it was super close, and Tanker was like, I was so sure, but I must have moved him, must have nudged him, because that is way too close for anybody to like. So we'll see how that goes. Over here, Darren, still pushing.
Starting to shuffle
forward.
up a bit,
Shuffling up a little bit forwards. Doesn't want to commit too much on this left side with these.
Like you say, if he's got 3 scoring near that central objective, he doesn't need to worry about the Iron Orcs.
So that's what he's sort of going for. A lot of the catapults are really doing a number on his big bricks, though. Gone down to 25, and that's not a good. That's at least halved his unit over the course of the game. And it's his opponent's turn, and he decides to go in for some big charges, baby. Some big I got some big stuff going on.
Before he gets taken off completely,
So not many wounds done to each of the big gargantulas, and obviously the Iron Orcs going in. They're just big rats, though, so they will die. But
giant rats,
I think they're giant rats, but
well, the swarms are the magic.
Thankfully for Darren, though, the other gargantua doesn't get in and only moves like 2 inches.
Okay. Yeah.
So he's only got these to deal with, but he will have to deal with them. And it doesn't look like that big unit of blood furs being chaffed by the goblins will be able to help anytime soon. So really interesting. Shout out to movementtrade.com who provided me a archivite, and obviously as I wasn't playing, I lent it to Darren. So
you didn't tell Darren you were just going to throw it down on the table.
I just put it there. So I'm part. I feel part of the battle.
Yeah.
And this is again just showing an overview of all the battles and where we're going and the people in. So our area, so to speak, and all the chat there.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Back to the ogres versus demons, and they get spectral blades off, which is quite interesting. That might turn up because on the Res 5, that's been the major thing. And obviously, I think this one only has a 5-up Aegis along with its armor, so that's a bit cut and dry, with a bit spiky. Over here, the he's got Smite on the Frost Mammoth, I think.
Okay.
The demon player to help him out there. The Mammoth Hunter goes through this unit of Succubi and eyes up a unit of Eidolons. I think that's how you say it.
Okay. Yeah.
Over on the left-hand side, it looks like the Mammoth Hunter has died to that unit of Succubi, so you've had a bit of a trade-off there.
One of the giants has gone down as well.
One of the giants has gone down, and the other one's plodding along against either the Hoarders or Clawed Fiends. I can't remember. There's one of the unit Scraplings is trying desperately to hold up the big demon. I think it's a Miser of Suglug. I'm not sure. That's what I want to say, but I'm not sure. And the Veil Serpents come in for chaff against the other Rock. So, looking over there. Sylvans versus Warriors. The Sylvans back off as much as possible. The objective is now the Warriors. They've done their job, but can't quite. Maybe there'd be something in the last turn for the objective, but not looking strong for them on that front. And everything else, look at all that death. Look at all that death.
Yeah, it's a lot.
At the top corner, you can see it's now 1v3. So who will be the last man standing? Will it be the armor or will it be the War Dancers? We just don't know. But the Warriors are moving up to see what other points they can get in the final stages of this battle. Over here, and we have one of the biggest clusterfucks I've ever seen. As you can see, the Longhorns actually took a lot more damage than they gave out in that last one, even with all their AP. However, it's turned for Minotaurs and impact hits to come into this unit, Sun Griffin. I guess from Luke's point of view, if he can keep those Longhorns alive and deal enough.
Yeah, he likes his Minotaur darts, doesn't he?
He does. And we had
that's a dart that's coming alongside the Longhorns.
Yeah, we had a good chat about Minotaur darts. There's a lot of shenanigans things with those champions,
Yeah, there is. Swirling melee and all that.
So I think this is only round 3 though, and Luke is using chaff to make this the only battle of the game, really.
Yeah.
That matters. Razor Tusk come back this way. Their job is now to keep the objective safe and tell you to back off, son. Back off. Yeah. Back off.
Don't you be doing that. Although they could just go around them.
Yeah, they could. Back up. Where are you going? Wait, here.
Yeah.
Like an action shot.
You should just pause when you edit that. You should pause that so that it lasts like 30 seconds.
Yeah, I'll put it and overview. Wes has joined up.
Are you sure you haven't mixed up? That's the deployment.
That's the deployment.
Flank.
Yeah. Absolutely. I don't know what he's calculating there, by the way.
I was going to say that's what hell. That's like Big Bang Theory. Or is he calculating pi?
It must be some sort of odds for something to happen. But it's certainly not victory points.
Well, at least it's nothing. Filthy either.
Yeah.
So entertained by the battle.
I'll leave it there, and you viewers can tell us.
Or Wes, some Illuminati code or something.
However, that is the last picture for this battle. I know that looks like deployment, but it was turn 6, and that was it. So a 10-10 there we have for our first.
Well earned 10-10. Well done, Wes.
Over here, and they didn't get in, and Tanker managed to magic them a bit down as well.
A bit,
so, maybe half points there. Although Sylvans do have healing, as we've already decided. Wretched Ones come into play a little bit as well. And that's the last picture as it looks. So,
last bit of that.
Unfortunately, if I move us over that, in terms of objective, I think it was a drawn objective because it looks like the Warriors have this one and the Sylvans have that. But obviously, points wise, tanker, unfortunately, because of that early onslaught from the Wild Huntsman and other things. It was down on points. So that win not looking quite good as well. This is, I believe, the last picture of Darren's. We'll see if it's... No, it's not. Oh, yeah. Oh, whoa. Spoiler. So, yeah, this is Darren's turn, and the Inorcs get the overrun into that unit of Clan Rats.
The Gargantula doesn't, though. So.
The Gargantula doesn't, and its final stages of the round in terms of time-wise. Not a lot's happened in the battle, but Darren has played it sort of pretty well, I think, and he explains what's happening to Tom, and the timeout was taken. During his timeout, baby.
Yes.
So he's saying, "What do I do? Do I go into that Gargantula, or what do I do? This? Do I do this?" And he decided to go for a long charge on this left side into that Gargantula up there. Not to charge over here because he's got this in the bag, and to charge his goblins out the way there. So Bloodfurs getting out of dodge of the Gargantula there. In terms of objective, no one's getting this one, and this one is currently being won by Darren, but you never know what will happen.
What will the goblins do?
Yes, what will goblins do? Over here, and the spears did not hold out. Unfortunately, the spears broke on this right side.
Thunder Beast has done well then.
The Titan did manage to get into the auxiliaries, so there's hope for Jake there.
If he's got enough rounds of combat to kill him off.
Has it got enough rounds of combat? And remember, Dread Elves do have +1 to hit. To wound. So maybe that's a factor as well.
Only the first round of combat, but yeah.
Shadow Riders even survived so long that they could go charge a war machine as well. So well done to them from that point of view. On the left hand side, that unit is into the Titan, I believe, and the Lugars obviously aren't scoring, but I think the slaves might be. So
slaves aren't.
Slaves aren't.
No, vassals would be.
Okay, so I don't know. So yeah, it's whether the Lugars can get that auxiliaries off the objective. I think. Unfortunately, the Titan goes down on this right side. Auxiliaries and the +1 to wound does enough to pump off the last couple of wounds, and that's an objective win on this side for the Dread Elves. And looking at it, the Lugars pump up. Another Titan goes down to the Cauldron unit, and it's suddenly the flanks have sort of capitulated for Jake. And the war machine, with the war machine gone as well. A lot of half points for Jake, but not full points for a lot of these units. So as we can see as well, the Obsidian Guard in the centre did rally, did get the combat they want, and killed the boy.
Whoever that hero was, they are formerly known as.
formerly known as ID. Over here, there is a charge. I think. I don't know where the charge goes into. Let's see if we can see next. No, this is my last picture. I think it goes into this unit who's chaffed them, and he decides not to go in with the auxiliaries because it's the last turn. He's got the objective. And it's an objective win with a few points, mainly the Titans, actually, slowing Jake down a bit. So, it's not looking good for us, really, on the whole. Although you have got me and Wes drawing it out. So, yeah, maybe there's some things to play. Hugh, on the other hand, is looking good. The big miser, or whatever the demon was, is down from a rock charge. So that's great. That's big points. The Mammoth Hunter has rallied in the back, and the other one on the bottom right is going through Eidolons like no one's business.
Managed to hold off on the scraplings getting evaporated by his middle charge.
Yeah, the Veil Substance died to this Rock, which is to be expected. This one continues to go through the Eidolons as the battle wears down. And the Rock gets a final charge against the Eidolons, while this giant just holds up the rest of play. Enough time for this Rock to go into the Succubi as well. So, hoping for Hugh's sake, that can be good, and it ends up all going his way, apart from the giant dying. But otherwise, it looks like the Rock died as well. So yeah, a bit of a trade-off, but overall looking good for Hugh. He's won the objective. He's got the demon, obviously. Got the majority of the demon points, and looking like a decent win there for Hugh. So captain leading strong. Over here in the Sylvan Elves versus Warriors. I'm not sure. I know the Sylvan Elves archers are way back here. Before the thing, but the war darts go into the flank of one of the knight units, so that might work out well. But the demonic lord goes into a unit of dryads to pick up their points, and the chariot just comes on here to say, you shall not pass, in his best Gandalf voice.
Of course.
It's showing that. Showing the war dancers, they go through the knights, but unfortunately get a barbarian to the face instead. And that's the end picture. One of them, I think the war dancers do go down, and it's an objective loss. Probably they lost the trade-off as well for Josh. So, yeah, not looking good there either. Over here, and the Sun Griffin do indeed go down to the sheer amount of impact hits and stuff going on. Longhorn's not taking too many damage, but they are being whipped down as the course of the rest of the battle goes on.
They just can't reform; they're just stuck.
Yeah, unfortunately for Luke as well, he found himself in a position where the Empire were able to get 2 units of scoring onto this right-hand side thing. So while he may be looking up on points because he's got the Sun Griffin, not a lot has actually gone down. And they're cheaper than you would expect.
That unit of Minotaurs back into the zone.
Well, unfortunately for them, there's one more round of combat, and that endeth the battle a little bit earlier than expected from Luke's point of view, which certainly was helped the EOS out, and so we did have a chat afterwards about how perhaps it was a bit of a slower battle, and that did favour the Empire.
Oh, so that one didn't get to 6 turns?
No, it didn't, but so that was an interesting one. And a big win predicted with the objective going, and not too many points. The Longhorns probably outweighing the points from the other side.
The wounded Griffins,
so not really going Luke's way despite his aggression with that Longhorn unit. There. Over here in the Vermin Swarm battle, you can see that the Doomsplats didn't quite get in, so he had to chaff, and he's getting as many points as possible for that Gargantula unit, trying to wound him, and see what he can do there. The Goblins are fleeing, and 25%, so we've got some points there, although granted that's not too many. And that's the final picture. So an objective win for Darren, I believe. So that's good. Very good there. Which is also, take a breath.
That was a slog.
The final picture of the round that I have, anyway. And yes,
take a breather.
Thus endeth the round versus Netherlands.
Round 3.
I have to say, I guess I don't have to, but I will say everyone's was a really good spirited thing. Obviously, letting me take pictures was great for the channel. So yeah, really good, and we were all not thirsty because of the boy wonder as well.
Dice Tower boy.
Yes, although I am thirsty now, so I wish he was here. But yeah. Mixed results all round. Really, some drawish, some good, some bad, and overall, this was how it all looked. So, obviously, from my point of view, I got a 11 out of my shake. Well done.
Well done, you.
Well done, me. What Tanker actually ended up because of everything going on, getting a 10, which isn't the worst result considering the sheer amount of stuff he got. So when he added up the points, he was like, actually, I did get that Wild Huntsman unit at the end, and this and this, and those wretched ones off screen for most of the battle. Picked up a few little points and enough to actually get him a draw. So that was brilliant, really. Josh, only got an objective loss in the end. So considering the pain he took, he managed to do some back and basically just get an objective loss. Hugh, star of the round, took a big win against the demons. Wes, 10-10.
Yep, the way they deployed it.
Yeah.
Good deployment.
No shocks there for anybody guessing a 10-10 there. But he did, in terms of that, and this is why he sort of...
You've still got to hold your nerve for that, though, right?
Yeah, well, absolutely. You've got to hold your nerve. You've got to make sure all your things are right. You don't make any mistakes. As he said, it was his first proper or really truly ETC battle, and it was a thing that he thought predicted-wise probably couldn't take if they made a game of it. So actually, did exactly the right thing for the team. So that was good there. Jake, unfortunately, with the 2 Titans going down, it was just a bit too much.
Yeah.
So he got 5. Luke as well. Tables turned towards the end of that battle, and the battle round, and got 5 from a 15. So unfortunately, so that you said after the battle, he said, "Yeah, I should have been a lot more aggressive than I was."
It seemed like he was taking the whole of the Empire army on with just the Longhorns
and
for a large portion of it.
And I will say after this, he decided to play much more aggressive and got some big results as well. So that's an interesting. I'd like to get his say a bit more on that as well. And then finally, Darren lost a few more points. Good result from a bad matchup. Lost a few points as well, but got the objective win. Ended up drawing and a good result there. So not as bad as some of them come out with. We did get a big win. We only predicted one big win. We got a big win. We got some wins turned to losses without counting. What did you think?
I think you down by about 4 or 5, wasn't it?
That's exactly right. Kind of.
Yeah.
4 or 5.
Well, in the swing,
80-80 is the draw. So I've classed this one as a draw.
Of course.
A 75-85 draw.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Definitely.
Well played, Netherlands. It's good all round. Well done, everybody, for all your things. And well done, viewers, for watching that, because that is a slog.
And for you, you've literally just spoken for I don't know how long without breathing. There
is a disclaimer. Most of that is probably wrong in terms of tactics and things, but we got there in the end.
Everything you've just watched, disclaimer, is probably not
wrong.
Yeah, apart from the Wes battle, we're pretty sure we got the Wes battle.
I'm so sure. Wes was up by 150 points.
The Yeomans.
Right. He got the Yeomans in the end. So moral victory.
He won.
So that 10 was a win.
Yeah.
But our 75-85 was a draw. I want to clarify. I need to clarify these things.
Yes.
Those are the rules of the thing. So
PTG rules,
a middle-ish draw in round 3 takes us.
But personally, you're 5 undefeated now.
Yes. So I mean, another selfish reason of wanting to get 11 was so that it wasn't a draw. So I have technically got 4 wins and a draw.
That's
so
nice.
Far.
Very nice. Very nice.
But I mean, if I'm classing this as a draw, that's optimistic.
11-9. That's a big win. Big win.
Right. Exactly. So, but no, happy enough, and let us know, guys. A big thank you to watching this and bearing with us through it. Let us know how well it flowed. I'm very interested in your guys'
I only switched
take
off about 10 times, I'll be honest.
What would you guys do to improve it if you were doing a round by round summary from that point of view as well, or was it perfect?
It was perfect in every way. I think every comment should reflect that. Yeah.
Exactly. So
and if they disagree, then they should subscribe if they haven't already to make sure that they can watch all the other battle reports.
Join our Patreon so you have a direct line to us.
Yeah,
and tell us.
Absolutely.
That's what you should do.
Yeah, direct line. Yeah, definitely.
Otherwise, guys, I would apologise for not giving you a battle report, but I gave you 7. So really, you're spoiled. Come on. You're spoiled, boys and girls. Thank you very much for watching. We move on to round 4 against Argentina.
Ooh, okay, interesting.
And I play a new army. that I haven't played before in EC. So
okay.
We'll leave it there with that. But thank you for coming along for the ride, Mr. IPG.
Oh yes, Sam, you're very welcome. It was a pleasure.
Yeah. There we are. It was over 120 pictures in that. Yeah. So that's nice. Loads. And no, thank you everyone. Until next time, round 4, baby. See you later.